Hey guys, this is Riser Arking coming at you with another deck profile. This is a little different. I'm doing it digitally. The reason being is because originally this was my deck. It was a 51 card amalgamation of battle traps, of control elements. Essentially what I did is I took my Lava Golem burn deck and I ended up putting it into my Eldlitch deck with a invoked core, and the reason why I did that is because with Eldlitch, you want to run like a small dependable engine, and invoked seemed to be that thing. And I'd been seeing a lot of videos, or at least I've seen a lot of reports of decks using burn, and using burn with Eldlitch very effectively. And I thought to myself, well, I used to play burn very effectively back in like the early stages of the game, but I'm looking at this deck and it's so crowded. Let me explain. So you have your Eldritch core, which is Eldritch, the Golden Lord, and all of its traps. You have a way to summon Eldritch out with, the Elixir cards. May it be Scarlet Sanguine or White Destiny. You have a way to search him with Golden Land, Cursed Eldland. You have all sorts of control elements just from him alone, like having Conquistador, Guardian of the Golden Land, and Hikiro, and it was working. Now, what really made this deck interesting is every single bit of it. It's running essentially three engines. It's running Eldritch, it's running Invoked, and with Elixir, I've got the terraforming to get to Magical Meltdown, to get to Elixir, to get to Invocation, which was the whole idea. It's a small, dependable engine inside the main deck, which essentially fills out the entire extra deck, with the exception of, the Mad Golden Lord, Almerduke, which we will get into that here in a minute, so on and so forth. Using Artemis, it's an instant Macabre, because you can link into Artemis in order to use Invocation to go right into Macabre, because it takes a light monster and Elixir. Then the traps, believe it or not, with the exception of the Eldritch core taking care of itself, Trap Trick got all of my normal traps out. It got out my dimensional barriers, it got out my mirror forces, it got out my magical cylinders, my blazing mirror force. It got all of my normal stuff out. Literally the entire deck, with the exception of, Red Reboot and Golden Land Forever, which I still think... No, actually, I take that back. Red Reboot and Nightmare Wheel are the only two things the only two traps I couldn't search. I couldn't really search, Cursed Eldland, and then Super Poly, I'm not running Verde Anaconda in this deck, but this deck essentially was just really trap heavy. A lot of people don't like or use battle traps. In today's metagame, I 100% understand and agree with that. This kind of felt like I could get away with it again. I main Shaddolls. That's like the one thing I love. But I wanted to try something new. And this was the first time I was able to actually get an Eldritch core. So I thought, you know what? I saw these reports of a deck that was very similar to this, but not exactly. So I wanted to try like how I used to play Burn back in 2003, 2005, when I was really playing, when Invasion of Chaos came out, and we got cards like Lava Golem. That's what I was trying to emulate. Didn't work out the way I wanted it to, unfortunately. However, coming back to this deck, I kept some of those elements of control, some of the elements of burn, and I streamlined it a lot. Now, the first couple of things you'll probably notice is I'm using the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode and the Winged Dragon of Ra. And I'll be honest, yes, they have a place in the deck. Can I cut them? Absolutely, and put other things in there. However, some of the locks that we're seeing with Bird Up, locking into Barrier Statue, you can only special summon wind monsters. That's actually why Almerduk is in here. Because he's a wind monster, and he uses 3 link monsters to summon. He's actually pretty good. The other thing is, Sphere Mode is a normal summon. And what better response to Sphere Mode, being Sphere Moded yourself, than activating for Ra and getting a 4K beat stick on the field. I know that sounds like justification, and in my mind, it's justification. In your mind, it's justification. So we can agree it's justification for... It's justification for me playing essentially a card that is probably too slow and unnecessary, but I'm justifying it anyway. Lava Golem is great monster removal. It will not get you past that link lockdown, however, because it's special summon and it's a fire. But that's okay. Golden Boy, this is the bread and butter of your deck. He's your pop, he's your... beat stick, he's your control. He really is, because he allows the other Golden Land traps to do stuff. Spirit Reaper, okay, I'm not going to lie to you. With Spirit Reaper, he is a leftover from my burn strategy, but he also happens to be a zombie with a halfway decent effect. What he's allowed to do is when he hits you, if you punch directly, you discard a random card from your opponent's hand. I know it's only a 300 attacking monster, but with the way that this deck actually goes through your opponent's monsters, it works. So with him and Zombie World and the Mad Golden Lord, the idea is to get him on the field with Mad Golden Lord and Zombie World, which in all honesty, I might be removing my soul absorbing. This deck is in its infancy. I might be removing my soul absorbing Bone Tower to put in a terraforming and 2 more zombie worlds, take out a couple of other things. But the idea is to completely utilize my opponent's graveyard to special summon things with Jacobolin, to take control of them with Eldlitch the Mad Golden Lord. And just like, oh, well, hey, you know, I see you're extending your graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and special summon him with Jacobolin because I've got Zombie World activated. I'm going to then tribute it to target one of your monsters and take control of it. Now, here's the thing. It does target, so that is a problem. But that's kind of the strategy I have with him, or that's what's in my head for the final result. And then, you know... Soul Absorbing Bone Tower, I either need more of him or I need to cut him. He doesn't really work at 1, but what he does is he allows you to mill your opponent's top 2 cards from the top of their deck anytime a zombie is special summoned. So you could technically use him with Zombie World, Jack Boleyn, and really just... You don't want to deck out... It's so dirty to deck out your opponent. I feel like that's a terrible strategy. However, I do think controlling your opponent's draw rate is important in some aspects. Now, Nibiru, the reason why I'm playing him, very simple. You know, on your 5th summon, I can go ahead and get a big token. I can get rid of it probably with Lava Golem or with Eldlitch, depending. I'm playing two Ash Blossoms, kind of for the same thing. Break someone's combo as quickly as I can. Zombie World is to control my opponent's board in order to get to a lot of those situations where I can use Soul Absorbing Bone Tower, where I can use Jack Bolin, where I can use Eldlitch the Mad Golden Lord, and really just control the field. Elixir, White Destiny helps me get my Golden Lord out faster from my hand. Of course, if he's already out, it helps me get any of my other zombie monsters out quickly as I can. Cursed Eldland, you can pay 800 in order to grab Golden Boy himself or one of your Golden Land monsters. And if you pop it with Golden Boy's effect, you can actually send one of your Golden Land traps to the graveyard, and they all have banish effects, which is amazing. 7 cities of the Golden Land is great too, because then you can fusion summon right out of your hand or from the field, and then you can actually select, you can target a set spell or trap and say, no, you can't use that today. It's totally fine. Great payoff there. Super Polymerization, when you have Zombie World out, everything's a zombie. It's just what it is. It's all zombies all the time. You can play, your Eldlitch, your Super Poly, and then clear their board. That's why it's in there, because the Mad Golden Lord takes an Eldlitch monster and then a level 5 or higher zombie. Of course, also you have Mud Dragon of the Swamp. You've got your Predaplant, Dragon Still whatever. I'm not even going to try. I'm too dyslexic for that. Starving Phantom Fusion Dragon, and of course your World Chalice Guard Dragon Almaduke. Almaduke is really great because of those 3 link requirements. Moving on from there, you have your Conquistador. Conquistador allows you to pop cards when you have Golden Boy on the field. So you can summon him. He's also a trap, and then he non-targeting destruction. The problem is destruction. So things like Dragoon, for example, you can't use it on him. Guardian of the Golden Land, this you can use on him because it reduces non-targeting, reduces a monster's attack to 0, which is amazing. Hikiro banishes cards from the graveyard. Of course, all of these only work if Golden Boy is on the field. Now, Elixir, Scarlet, Sanguine, it's kind of like White Destiny. The difference is it does it from the deck. So as long as if you don't have Golden Boy out, it summons Golden Boy immediately. But if you do have Golden Boy out, you have access to any of your other zombie monsters from the deck, which is pretty much all of your other monsters except Nibiru and your Winged Dragon of Ra. Gravity Bind allows for level 4 or higher monsters to be unable to attack. And of course, Magic Cylinders redirects an attack. It is targeting, however. So you can't use Magic Cylinders on anything with targeting protection, but that's okay. Not everything has targeting protection. Of course, we went through, Eldlitch the Mad Golden Lord, Mud Dragon. It takes any 2 attributes with different names and different types, or different types, I should say. So it can't take like 2 dragons that are light, but it can take like, a spellcaster and a warrior that are light, and boom, you've got Mud Dragon of the Swamp. And it can be any attribute. Your Predaplant, it's 1 fusion, 1 dark. It's really to get rid of, honestly to get rid of your, their Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, again, to get rid of their Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And the World Chalice Guard Dragon Almaduke to get rid of their Barrier Stature combo, because a lot of them will have one of their Tri-Brigade monsters out. They'll have the Samorg out, and then they'll have something to protect them both. I've seen people use Avermax. That's a scary thing. But it does take 3 link monsters, and it does help break that up a little bit. Also helps with Link Dragon quite a bit too, or Dragon Link. Vampire Sucker, it's a walking zombie land, or Zombie World almost. It does a couple of different things, but it's a good card to have. You know, Nightmare Phoenix will destroy back row. You can destroy special summon monsters with Cerberus. You can spin anything back with Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Griffin allows you to grab a spell or trap in the graveyard and set it. You have to discard a card, which in this deck, discarding zombie monsters with Jack out, really just, it's spinning everything back. And then Skull Dread helps you fix your hand. So again, the reason why I'm not showing a physical representation of this deck, I am missing 2 Spirit Reapers. I've only got the 1. I don't know what I did with the other 2. I am also missing some of these extra deck monsters. I gave my wife the Mud Dragon. I gave her the Starming Venom Fusion. I traded my Vampire Sucker to my buddy Phil. Tara, my wife, has my Nightmare Unicorn. These are things that we didn't have play sets of because we only needed one of them at a time. That's changing. I'm going to be getting play sets of these cards, but those are the cards I'm missing. So functionally, I'm using proxies in the deck. So I'm using Scapegoats to supplement for the Spirit Reapers, which, I mean, all honesty, tokens are fine. They help in their own way, but they're not exactly what I'm trying to do. And, you know, in the extra deck, there's no supplementing those. You know, and this deck is in its infancy, but I wanted to give you guys ideas. This is what I'm working on, and I'm probably going to keep updating this deck with y'all, so you can kind of see where my head is going. However, originally, I did actually run this deck. I have all of these cards. And this was what I was going to show y'all before. This is the double-sleeved orange deck. But I had a revelation. This deck, even though literally 98% of this deck is searchable off of other cards, and every card can be used in a play, I felt like this deck, it ran good the first several times. It ran over everything. It ran over all of my friends' decks. I didn't get to take it to locals yet, but it was really doing well until it wasn't. And I'm going to explain. I built this deck in probably 10 minutes, tearing apart my Burn deck and my Eldlitch deck originally, and I was just trying to mash something together, essentially, to make it work. I had just been at locals. I put together a really powerful Shaddoll, an invoked Shaddoll deck, which I'm going to do a deck profile on the channel for, and I got ran over by a Madolche deck. Madolches ran me over, and I thought to myself, you know what? These guys at locals are really good, and I hand it to the guys Next Gen Gaming. They're great. I think they're wonderful. They're awesome players, but I was just tired of getting run over by them. Just them. Just getting run over by those guys. They're really good at Yu-Gi-Oh! They've cracked the game. And I've never played Eldlitch before, and I was like, you know what? I heard Eldlitch was good, and I'm something of a control player myself. So I decided, you know, I'm going to put Shaddolls to rest for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and rip my invoked engine out, and I'm going to go ahead and just build something really awful. And I saw a deck list for a deck that was actually making the rounds online and just ripping through people, and it was a Burn deck. And I thought to myself, well, I've got some experience in that. I'm going to go ahead and burn. I'm going to build a Burn deck. I'm going to build an Eldlitch control Burn. This is what it ended up as. And the reality is it bricks so hard. And I mean, just looking at it, it's 51 cards. Built it in a single morning. This was my response to that. This is me streamlining it. This is me taking the control elements from it, still using the Eldlitch engine, but getting rid of the invoked. I have a love-hate relationship with Alistair, man. He's really, I mean, he's easily ashed. His archetype is good. I'm not going to knock it, but the reality is it's not as strong as it could be. It does bring decks up quite a bit, but at the same time, he himself is not really a wonderful. I mean, it's a 9 at maximum 9 card main deck that you can throw into the main deck. He cannot be his own engine. I know that's why Magistus came about, but the reality is he's not as good as he could be. But this is my deck profile. That's the reasons why I'm not showing you a physical deck. Again, I'm sorry. I actually tore the physical deck apart and started making this. So please follow for more. Follow me on TikTok. This is where deck suggestions come in. I did a Marinesis deck. I did a Blue Eyes deck. I've done, I don't know how many Dark Magician decks, which I'm fixing to actually do another one of those. So, you know, hang out with me sometime. We also have a team channel that we're going to be launching here very soon, where we're going to get to see more than just my and Zach's decks. You're going to see everyone's decks. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and thank you for the subscribers. Real quick, I just wanna say, I know TikTok follower 3DarkerX also said that they were following me. They were my 27th follower. Dude, that's so awesome. I want to thank you all so much for following me. Also, on my TikTok, I'm up to 514 followers. Guys, I'm trying to make content for y'all every day. Thank you so much. I know I've been falling behind. Work is crazy right now. We're in the busy season. I ran like a 65-ish hour week because people need internet. People need their internet fixed. That's what I do as my main job. If I could ever make Yu-Gi-Oh my main job, I would.